Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello, my name's Ben Thomas and you're watching Combat Sports UK. Today I'm joined by one of the fastest rising stars in UK mixed martial arts. It's none other than Liverpool's Luke Riley, who is fresh off his victory over Kallum Parker at Cage Warriors 152. Luke, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, taking the time out of your schedule. After a crazy war like you were in, you haven't even got a scratch on your face. I mean, you said a moment ago you've got a few bits of yellow under your eyes, but you look ready to go back in there again. How are you? How are you doing?
All good, mate. I'm feeling good. I've just been enjoying my little win, having a bits of food, just a little week off the gym, and then Monday I'm back in. But yeah, not much punishment. Apart from the first round and first couple of shots, I didn't really take much. He didn't really faze me with any shots or hurt me with anything he threw. So yeah, I'm all good.
That's brilliant to hear. Let's just dive straight into it. Obviously, victorious at Cage Warriors 152 in Manchester on Saturday night, as I just mentioned. Looking back at the fight, what are your initial thoughts on how the bout went?
Looking back, I was straight after the fight, straight away, I was a bit harsh on myself. With I think now looking back, obviously when you fought, emotions are running high. Your brain's not really working to full capacity, lad. You just whenever you're speaking and you're running off raw emotions. So now looking back, I was very harsh on myself. Don't get it twisted. It still wasn't my best performance by a long mile. But I've done a lot of good stuff, and I'm glad with the fight. You know what I mean? It was a good fight, but let's be honest, it was a unanimous win. Apart from the first round, the shots Kallum hit me with. Apart from that, it was just a whitewash from me in the last two rounds. Even the end of the first round, it was all me. So yeah, I'm feeling good, lad. Yeah.
I mean, it was also a last-minute opponent change. I believe it was like the weekend of the fight, of just before your fight. He pulled out. Just how difficult.
Well, to be honest, like people are saying, it's like 4 days' notice. Kallum knew about the fight still at fair play to him. It was like, I'd say 10 days. It was he knew from 10 days. He just didn't accept. It was negotiations. You know what I mean? He knew about the fight, but accepting it, I think it was about 5 days out. He fully accepted the fight.
Just how difficult was it, though, to think about your opponent throughout the whole camp? You know what he was going to bring, and then he pulls out so close to the fight, and then you've got to change your game plan completely. Yeah,
it was. Obviously, it was a completely different style to what Luke was going to bring. But with me, people know what I'm going to bring anyway. I'm not one to pure game plan and stuff on people, which probably I said after the fight maybe should start doing a bit more. Is sticking to a game plan and trying to execute that in the fight. But I was just going to do the same as whoever it was, to be honest. So, yeah.
I mean, you just said there that Kallum knew about the fight on 10 days' notice, but I believe he flew over from America on the Monday or something, fight week?
Yeah, fair play to him. All respect to Kallum, even though he's acted like a complete prick after the fight, and I'll slap him when I see him for being it's a little bastard, lad. Fair play to him.
When accepting him as your opponent, did you know anything about him? Did you know about his fight style, or was it just completely off the cuff? This is what you've got. You've got to go in there and kind of fight blind.
Yeah, that was like I said again after the fight, the fear of the unknown. It's the hardest things to come up against when you don't know about someone, when there's no footage or there's a little clip of him on his Instagram which you're seeing. And me, like a lot of people after the fight were saying, Luke thought he was gonna whitewash the kid. It was going to be. I knew, like me and my coaches, you can even speak to them yourselves. We knew straight away when we seen little clips of him and stuff. We knew like he was coming to fight. He had that like sort of Diaz style. Do you know what I mean? He was going to be a bit relentless and take a bit of punishment. And yeah, fair props to him, lad. So yeah.
I mean, right now it sounds like there might be a little bit of beef going back and forth between you two, but do you believe that your paths will potentially cross again? Because if he fights potentially like that in that first round against other featherweights, it's kind of almost a certainty that they're being put away. Do you reckon there's a potential rematch down the line, maybe in Cage Warriors a bit further up, or maybe even under the UFC banner?
Yeah, like I've spoke to people. Yeah, maybe so. I'm not taking no rematch yet. I've got the W. I'm moving on to different things. But if he wants to stick with Cage Warriors and sign with them, he probably will. He'll probably will start a few people in the division. Them shots he he hit me with. Not many people will. There's 99% of people aren't really standing to them. They're crumbling or going a kick. So if he does get a few names under his belt, I'll happily run that back if the fans want to see that fight. But straight off the bat, no, I'm not running it back. My next fight, it's moving on from that. So, but yeah, if he beats a few people, I'll happily run the fight back 1,000,000%.
I have a sneaky feeling this one we may see in the future. But one
Yeah,
difference maker, one difference maker throughout the fight were those body shots. I mean, they were absolutely pinpoint from start to finish, and ultimately they were the shots that slowed your opponent down. With him coming in on late notice and a few days' notice, is that something you had in the game plan to attack the body and go from there?
Not really, no. And I throw a lot of body shots anyway in sparring, training and stuff. So not really. There was a few times where the body shots, if I would have just took a step back and maybe used my brain a bit more, then body shots would have hurt him from. I could have maybe stepped on the gas, and there was a good few times where I could have finished the fight 100% looking back, especially off the body shots. So that second round as well, the very end, I think it was literally the bell when he was done and he got saved by the bell. So yeah, the body shots, they hurt people.
I mean, in a weird way, as a fan of mixed martial arts, is there a part of you that can kind of watch that opening round back and kind of enjoy it? Because both of you were clipped multiple times throughout the first 5 minutes. And in my opinion, it is one of the best rounds in Cage Warriors history because you're both just going back and forth. Is it something that, although you maybe weren't happy with your performance at the time, is it something you can watch back and think, holy shit, I was in a fight?
Yeah, that's what you've said there. Looking back on it now, obviously I was a bit harsh straight after because I've never been stunned in my whole career. I've been fighting for since I was 10 years old. That's never happened to me. So, but looking back now, I was just laughing because that especially that overhand right, what he hit me with, it was clean on the chin like that. What I was just laughing. I just took it, bounced back up.
Mm-hmm.
I think I bounced back up and like moved out the way of a backhand, and it cracked him with one, and then he cracked me again. It was like I was just looking at it thinking, wow, like fucking hell, I have some chin on me, which I knew anyway. I knew I had that dog in me, but I feel like that fight now, especially the first round, the fight in general, has done a lot more for me than if I would have took him out in the first round KO, because the traction I've got off the fight. Oh, I'm sorry. The traction I've got off the fight and the support and fans I've got, where people obviously were waiting for me to be tested a bit, that's just proven I can be, so, and I can come through it.
I mean, that kind of leads me perfectly onto my next question, because in this game, you know that your stock can go on a roller coaster journey. 1 minute, your stock can be through the roof, and then seconds later, it can drop. In this fight, do you believe that it sent your stock skyrocketing? Because in my opinion, I think it goes through the roof because you've showcased the rest of the division. It'll take a lot more than a few powerful shots to put you away.
Yeah, I knew that, like I've just said then, I knew that anyway, but my stocks have definitely gone up. Obviously, you get the few little fucking, like I said, the few cockroaches that think, oh, anyone in the top of the division is going to destroy me now, but just let them think that, because I know deep down what I'm capable of. And I know even if people at the top of the division, if that shot would have hit them, they would have crumbled. I know that for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's definitely took me stocks up, I'd say.
I mean, then it was also announced on Wednesday that you have officially signed a multi-fight extension with Cage Warriors. Was that something that was in the works before 152 or something that came after the fight?
It was, well, that was sort of my last fight, the contract, so it was. I knew it was coming anyway, but it's after that fight, and it secured a good deal for myself, let's just say. And
Put a few more pennies on it, did it?
Yeah, a bit more than what I was on, let me just say that. And it's going to be a great year. There was no other thought in my mind about no other promotion. I know where Cage Warriors, how they're promoting me now. They know what I'm capable of, and I know where it's going to lead me to going in the case of the UFC. So there was no other promotion on my mind after the contract run out anyway. It was signed and done basically after the fight.
How much of a confidence boost is it, though, to be offered a new contract under one of the most elite promotions in combat sports?
That's perfect. Yeah, we that's what like I've just said. Then Cage Warriors know what they've got with me, and I know the promotion they are as well, and the just that how much even since I joined, I feel like Cage Warriors has grew so much compared to just over a year ago. I had my first fight with them. Even since then, I feel like just everything's just gone through the roof with Cage Warriors. The people have got under the banner now. They've got a lot of talent, a lot of stars, a lot of people who are ready to go to the UFC. But there's a lot of UFC talent, ready talent in the Cage Warriors. Just the whole roster. It was still with Cage Warriors, so it's like the fights that are being made now are just crazy. It's all the shows are stacked. It's great.
And there's another one on April 29th in Dublin. That is going to be one hell of a card. Have you ever thought of going up to Dublin and maybe getting on one of those cards?
Well, to be honest, before the start of the year, I was, but like I would have fought on that card happily against someone, but obviously it's a bit next week. So, but I think is there a Dublin card end of the year as well?
Yeah, I think they've announced one or two in Dublin over the next few months.
Yeah, so that lines up perfect. Like, if there's one end of the year, I'll do July London, September Manchester, and then I'd do Dublin end of the year, 4 fights. So,
I mean,
no one's been. Oh, go on. What? Sorry.
I mean, that kind of leads me perfectly onto my next question. You kept your undefeated record intact, 6-0 now. Have once again established yourself as one of the top contenders. And as we said, another contract in the books. What does 2023 look like for Luke Riley? When can we expect to see you back in there? You just mentioned London, Dublin, but do you have like a set plan of this is when I'm going back into fight camp? This is when I want to accept opponent. This is when I want to fight.
Yeah, July, man. It's July. I've been given a word, so I'm straight back in. I've had this little week off. I'm back in the gym next week. I'm ready to go. July, September, and then whatever shows at the end of the year. I'm looking to be active, so
looking for a very, very busy 2023.
Yeah.
But have you, obviously it's quite early on, have you had any word on any potential opponents? Have you got anyone in mind? No?
There's no words on. I haven't been back in the gym, so I haven't really spoke to my coaches. So I should fight. To be honest, I reckon a fight could be announced in the next couple of weeks, because there's a good few people who are like sort of at the same position I am who could possibly fight. So yeah.
Have you got any names on the tip of your tongue who you maybe want to jump in there with next?
Anyone? No, to be honest, yeah. Honestly, at this moment in time, like the stage I'm at, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go with anyone, to be honest. I just need to get back in the gym, round a bit of my game off, like I said, and yeah, I'm ready to go, man. Anyone.
That's that Liverpool approach. Anyone can get it, but it was a solid night for Next Gen with obviously Gittings, Fletcher, and yourself picking up the wins. How much of a confidence boost is it to have all of those guys in fight camp at the same time as you and working towards the same goal?
Yeah, it's perfect when everyone's peaking at the same time, aren't you? So when everyone's in camp, it's just like you're just bouncing off each other. You're sparring 5-6 rounds. You're getting them in with the best fighters in Europe. We've got the best team in Europe, arguably. So yeah, it's unbelievable, lad, when you're in camp and everyone's just pushing each other on.
What do you think? Go on.
The mat in our gym is unbelievably stacked. How stacked our mat is just unbelievable.
I mean,
and then
established
down as well.
Pardon?
Go on, what you say?
I mean, it's definitely established itself as one of the hottest gyms in not just Europe now, but the world.
Yeah.
And you know what that's like. That's one hell of an achievement to be one of the most established in the world as well.
Yeah, facts, man. It's just unbelievable, lad. It's fucking crazy.
It is crazy. But what do you think is next for Nathan? Obviously, he took out an extremely difficult opponent on Saturday night and made it look very easy with that beautiful slick submission. Where do you think he goes next from here?
I was speaking about Nathan to a few of my mates before. I honestly think, well, it's two things for Nathan. It's either the belt, which is, I seen him doing an interview, what he posted on his Instagram. I can't remember who it was with, but with the way Kallum and Hazan are fighting, by the time they're fought, they're probably not going to be looking to, whoever wins the fight is probably not going to be looking to get out as early as what Nathan wants to. So he wants on a July card, but I could see him possibly getting a call up for the London UFC card what's being announced with Nathan after he just beat someone who's 8-1. So, and like he said himself, his resume speaks for himself. The caliber of opponents Nathan's beaten for is crazy. It's probably the best by far the best in his division in Cage Warriors, and one of the best on the whole roster. The type of people he's beat, and so yeah, I could see him getting a call up for that. But if not, it's either got to be a very high stakes fight or the belt. That's all That's all he's That's all he's for.
And obviously, despite being injured and potentially out on the sidelines until next year, Paddy the Baddy was still there at cage side cheering you on. Just how big of a motivation is it to have a guy like that cheering you on and shouting instructions from cage side?
Paddy's the man, and he's fucking doesn't act all Hollywood and fucking too big. She's still supporting the lads, which he always will. He's just the most down to the humble fucking. You see him getting a lot of stick online, but no one really knows him, do they? Until you fucking. Paddy's the guy, isn't he? But supporting us. I went to Vegas to support him, and he's fucking. We return the favors in the gym, so yeah, we'll always support one another, whatever happens in our lives or careers or whatever.
I bet that weekend in Vegas was a fun one, wasn't it? No, it wasn't.
No, it was, but it's fucking. It's like off the hangover, lad. Let me tell you, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Can't go into details about that, but
no.
Finally, is there anything you'd like to say to the fans? Give your fans a shout out. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to all my sponsors, obviously. My fans, people who just support me. Who bought a ticket to the card. I sold the most tickets out of everyone on the card, so that just shows a lot to the promotion as well when they were re-signing me. Just everyone who's sent me messages, just good-hearted, good stuff. Do you know what I mean? Wishing me well and how they enjoyed the fight. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, Luke, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and we look forward to seeing what comes next. And I hope we can speak before your next fight, whenever that may be. But thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Thank you very much.